If you're watching this video, I'm sure you have heard of the idea that the feeling is the secret. You tap into that feeling and that wish fulfilled, and that is what is going to draw it all to you. But what happens if you can't seem to stay in the feeling? What happens when life seems to continually be getting in the way and you do not know how to get out of whatever obstacles are in your way? In this video, I'm going to actually be breaking down the magic that is held within the feeling that I've actually never seen anybody else talk about. And I believe that if you watch until the end of this video, the magic that I'm going to show you of what really is held within the feeling can radically change your life. I'm going to be drawing out visual examples, and I'm also going to be breaking down exactly how you can apply this to your life, exactly how you can start tapping into the feeling and using the magic that is in the feeling and make the changes that you really want and you deserve in your life. So let's get started. The first part of this, I'm going to actually be bringing in Dr. Joe Dispenza to help us out. And if you're not familiar with him, one of the major things he talks about is your electromagnetic signature, who you are being. Wayne Dyer had a quote, "You don't attract in your life what you want, but you always attract who you are." And I like to take that a little bit deeper, who you are being. So when we bring in the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, that your thoughts and your feelings are creating your unique electromagnetic signature, and your thoughts and your feelings getting sent out into the quantum field. The quantum field then helps co-create by sending you experiences back in alignment with that unique electromagnetic signature. Again, your thoughts as well as your feelings, big thing here, is what is going to be your electromagnetic signature. So here we just have a really basic consciousness map, and this is going to be important to blend these ideas together. But this is the consciousness level: shame, guilt, fear, courage, and so on. And actually, the reason these have the blame associated with guilt is on this really complex consciousness map that I found, they actually had the emotional states, which in the realm of guilt, the emotional state is more blame, which I thought was really interesting, and fear as anxiety. So what I want you to understand with this video, and really where you can get the magic of the feeling, is to start to understand that the feeling, so if you're, whatever it is right now, you're wanting to shift, maybe it's about abundance, maybe it's about a specific amount of money. We know, according to Neville Goddard, your self-concept, the container of whatever it is that holds your self-concept, which is going to be the collection of your assumptions, that is what you're going to filter through. That is the level of consciousness. And again, if it's about lack, if it is more in that realm, or maybe even shame, this is going to be a lower level vibration, right? Maybe it's fear. Okay, you have that level of consciousness when it comes to this part of you. And the reason you have that is because of the first part of your life, right? Your early on environment and how you grew up and what you were taught it was to be human. That could have been associated with a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of maybe potential rejection about money, that it's only for bad people. So if you're wanting to manifest money and you start to tap into the feeling, but there's a little bit of rejection of it, oh no, it's not safe, the first thing you're going to do is start to understand and create a sense of safety within the feeling. That is one thing that's absolutely going to radically change your life when it comes to tapping into the feeling, because you cannot manifest anything that doesn't feel safe. So when it comes to money, potentially, and you're trying to manifest it and it wasn't safe, maybe your family rejected it, maybe they really judged people who had it, well, you would not want to be associated with that, because that would have meant you would have been rejected from your early on culture, which was actually maintaining your physical survival. So side note, really get deep into seeing, do you feel unsafe by feeling that inversion of you? Okay, so that was a tangent, but I believe that was really important. So if your current self-concept, you have a consciousness level of guilt. Maybe you feel guilty for having needs, guilty for having these desires, but your ideal self-concept is that of courage or even love or joy. Maybe having abundance you associate with having joy. What I want you to understand is that when you tap into the feeling of joy, this is significantly higher than that of guilt, obviously. Well, I want to bring in a quote by Albert Einstein. There's two different variations. The first one I've heard is, you cannot solve a problem with the same level of mind that it was created in. Another way I've heard it said is, you cannot solve an issue from the same level of consciousness that the problem exists in. So if your problem in your current self-concept is down here in guilt or shame or fear, whatever it is, this is a certain level of information. There's a frequency being emitted by your electromagnetic signature, your thoughts and your feelings. You tapping into the joy, this higher level emotion, this has significantly more information. So basically what I'm saying is as you tap into the feeling, it's going to give you information on how you can solve your current level problem, because this information is at a higher level of awareness and it has wisdom in that frequency. So the more and more time you spend here asking what that version of you, the version of you that had abundance, the version of you that felt safe to have money, that felt safe to have all the resources you need, how would they solve your current problems? How would they go about dealing with these current day obstacles? The more you start to understand, oh my God, I have the ability to tap into higher levels of consciousness and get the wisdom to apply to my current situation. You might be thinking, oh, easier said than done, but I would really ask you to explore this. If you were to lie down later tonight and you just completely consumed and you use your imagination, you physically felt the sensations, and you use that imagination as vividly as you could to create that you that was living in joy, that was living in abundance, how would that you, with all the wisdom, all the knowledge that it gained, how would they solve your current day issues? If you can start to understand that tapping into the feeling also holds in it the wisdom of the higher level of consciousness, and in that higher level, it's a bird's eye view where these problems that you're looking and you just can't seem to solve because you're in the same level of consciousness that it's created in. You're going to have a higher level of consciousness so that you can be able to see it differently, move through it differently, and ultimately energetically change your signature, which is going to what? We said the electromagnetic signature, the thoughts and the feelings, sends out a unique signature according to these very specific thoughts and feelings, very specific according to you with your unique experiences, with your unique set of assumptions. I believe that this right here, understanding that ideal version of you, that feeling of your wish fulfilled actually holds in it the solutions, the answers to your current level problems. So this is another way to inspire you to not just sit there and say, okay, all my problems are solved. I am the person, I am the me that I want to be. I'm in my ideal self-concept. Okay, how would the ideal self-concept me handle the situation I'm in now? Because if I have an assumption that I am abundant, if I have an assumption that I am worthy, I would not maneuver, I would not give meanings and interpretations of people's treatments that I'm not worthy. I would know I'm worthy, so I would not handle it the same way. I would probably advocate, I would stand up, I would ask for my needs to be met. I would move through the world in a completely different way. So as you start using your imagination to start to ask, what would that ideal self-concept, and if you're in that feeling and you're thinking from the end, how did me in this realm, this concept get here? And you would be shocked at what your body, your intelligence, your higher self, what wisdom that you have access to right now. I really encourage you to not just believe me, don't just take my word for it, apply it in your own life. Start to tap into whatever, maybe it's courage, maybe it's love, whatever it is, that higher level version of you, how would that me deal with the situation that I'm in right now? Because it can't be about worth. It can't be about, okay, every bad thing ever happens to me, because that's not that concept that you'd have to be in to be up here. So the more and more you start to think from the end, how would that version of you have navigated this to get there? Do that and you will start tapping into the higher level consciousness, the wisdom that is in this realm. You have access to it now. The only reason you don't tap into it is because of the stories, the interpretations, the assumptions, the perceptual biases on how you look out into the world right now, who you identify to be. And also understanding that you're identifying that way for certain undesirable situations that you might keep experiencing, but you might get a reward from it. For instance, so early on in my life, I would find myself in really dramatic relationships. And what I would do is I'd go to my friends and I'd complain. And I would say, oh, this person's doing this bad thing, or they're being really mean. And really, me playing the victim, I saw it as getting connection because I was getting their pity. So even though I had to be a victim, I had to have somebody treat me mean, I was getting a reward. And when I realized true connection is not about pity and it's not about having to be a victim, I could get connection a different way, I completely didn't want to have anything to do with that because it wasn't enjoyable. So really start to ask yourself when it comes to the feeling, for one, do I feel safe feeling it? 2, what would that inversion of me, how would they handle this obstacle? How would they interpret this person's treatment, this situation, this setback? How would they see it? The more and more you do that, the more you are literally thinking from the end, and then more and more that end will be drawn and attracted to you right now. If you're looking for more help with how to let things go, this next video right here is going to show you the 3 keys to make letting go easier. Thank y'all so much for watching. I love y'all. Like this video if you liked it. Join the community if you haven't done so already, and I will see you on the next one.